Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Morning Market Review. We sincerely apologize for the delay in this morning's review. All right, can we all hear me? If you can all hear me, let's drop a message, a yes in the chat box. Can we all hear me, please? All right, thank you very much. So without wasting our time today, we'll look at what news we're expecting. And I'm very sure we're all aware that we're expecting the NFP from the US zone today, and which is one major news that investors are looking forward to. So we'll look at the other news that we're expecting and what time and how we can take advantage of price movement. All right, so I'll be sharing my screen now. All right. We all know that this week we've had a series of high impact news, and then yesterday, rather on Wednesday, the FOMC released their fund rate and the left rate unchanged. I believe we can still hear me. So they left rate unchanged. All right, contrary to the belief or to the idea or the expectation that interest rate will be cut this year, right? So because of the news and the way inflation has been in the US, they are still maintaining rates rather than cutting it. All right, so let's see how the news that we're expecting today, which is the NFP and the CPI data that will be released in 2 weeks' time. Let's see how it's going to actually determine when to expect rate cuts. So the NFP is coming out by, we have about 4 series of high impact news coming out from the US zone today. About 3 will be released by 1:30. We have one, which is a medium impact news, though, will be released by 2:45, and the last high impact news by 3 p.m. today. All right, so that's just like the major news we have today. We have news from the Eurozone, we have from the GBP zone, and Euro and GBP zone, but they are all medium impact news. The JPY, the CNY, today is a bank holiday. All right, so let's quickly look at our chart to see how we can take advantage of price movement this morning in expectation for the NFP coming out later today. All right. Okay, I love to look at the dollar index first. As it tells us what to expect when we pair dollar with other currencies, all right? So we can see how dollar closed yesterday. Dollar closed bearish yesterday, all right? So let's see, the unemployment claim that came out from the US zone yesterday was actually Yes, it came out not too good. All right, it came out neutral from the zone. It actually came out neutral, so that it doesn't actually give much strength to the currency. And coupled with the fact that the left rate unchanged, so currently dollar is not as strong as expected. All right, dollar is not as strong as expected. I believe we cannot see my screen. All right, so looking at what dollar index did yesterday, actually closed bearish. All right, so and then looking at what it did right at this point, all right, it went up, and then on this point it created a low, another low lower than this. So dollar has actually moved from one trend to another, right? This was sometime in, yes, that's last month. Sometime last month, we can see how dollar has actually been pushing up, and then because of the high impact, the news concerning the interest rate and the war between Israel and Iran, we can see how much strength dollar is not as strong as it is being portrayed. All right. So let's see what to expect now that we have seen. Okay, let's see what dollar has been doing today. All right. Okay. So we can see how dollar opened this morning. We can see how dollar opened. Dollar has actually, there's no much. So if you're going to be seeing any strength in dollar today, it will be just the move in expectation for the NFP. All right. So let's see. I don't know if most of us trade dollar, but if we have people that trade dollar, so for the sake of those that trade this instrument, all right. So if you're looking at to buy dollar, all right, I would just advise that you wait for price to close above this point before you enter your buy. All right, wait for price to close above this point and make sure you take your profit before this stone cold resistance and right before this. You can see how this 21 period moving average also serving as a resistance at this point. All right, so you can look at entering your buy if price is able to close above this point and then take your profit before the stone cold resistance. All right, it's also important to check the smaller time frame, as you wouldn't want to stay too long in the market because of the news you're expecting by 1:30 today. All right, so if dollar is able to close above 105.248, 105.248, you can look to enter your buy and take your profit at price 105.317. 105.317 for the sake of those that trade this instrument. All right. So remember, you don't have to wait for price to hit your TP before you exit the market. All right. And before you can make good money from trading this, you need to use good lot size. All right. So alternatively, if I'm going to be entering a sell, I will rather wait for price to break below this point before I enter a sell. All right. I'll wait for price to break below this point before I enter a sell. Or if price is able to close above this point, I can set a sell limit and sell all the way to this point. All right. If price is able to close above this point, I enter a sell and sell all the way, set a sell limit and sell all the way to this point. All right. So, but alternatively, for those of us that would like to set a sell stop, if price is able to close below, let me see. Okay. Importance of checking on smaller time frame. All right, so if price is able to close below 104.945, 104.945, take your sell and then take your profit right before this verified support at price 104.873. 104.873. All right, so let's look at what Euro USD is looking like this morning. We can see what dollar is doing, index is doing at the moment. So let's see what to expect from the Eurozone. All right. So this morning we can see how Euro opened. All right. Just like I said, we might see more of a consolidating market this morning, and that's because of the NFP that we're expecting in the later today. All right, by 1:30. Okay, so I'll just say if price is able to close below this point, all right, right before this my 21 period. Let me look at that. Yes. Okay. All right, so if price is able to close below 1.07255, this is Euro USD, all right? So if price is able to close below 1.0255, all right, we will look to sell and take a profit right before 1.07220. 1.07220. Don't forget, you don't have to wait for price to hit your TP before you exit the market. And also, you may want to use a good loss size. You have to use a good loss size before you can make good money from trading currency pairs. All right. So for those of us that are risk takers, we may want to enter an instant sell on Euro USD, instant sell on Euro USD, and take your profit somewhere around 1.07250. So risk takers want to enter an instant sell at price 1.07250. Sorry, at the current market price, enter an instant sell and take your profit anywhere around 1.07250. All right. So let's move on to GBP USD. All right. GBP USD. Okay. All right. So looking at GBP USD, if from this currency strength meter, we can see the strength of GBP to against the strength of dollars. Like looking at this now, we know that when paired together and GBP being the base currency, we expect a push up in this market. All right. So GBP US is currently on an uptrend. Okay. So all right. So if you're looking to, okay, this is the daily time frame. Let's move to 1 hour and see what market has actually been doing. All right. So we can see that yesterday, because of the weakness in dollar, this instrument closed bearish. Sorry, closed bullish. All right. So just as we saw earlier that USD IDX, which is the dollar index, closed bearish yesterday. All right. So looking at GBP USD on 1 hour time frame, we can see our GBP US is currently moving this morning, and whatever move you see on this instrument is in expectation for the NFP coming out later today. All right. So I will just say if price is able to close below this point, you enter your sell, and right before this 21 period moving average, you take your profit. All right. You don't want to wait. You don't want to set your take profit around here because this 21 period moving average is serving as a support. And the price is not able to break it and it pushes back up, you might end up losing some of your profits, if not all. All right. So it's advisable that you take your profit right before this 21 period moving average. All right. So if price is able to close below 1.25371, all right. Just adjust it a little bit. If price is able to close below 1.25351, 1.25351, we can enter a sell. That's sell stop now and take our profit right before this week's support at price 1.25315. 1.25315. Again, you don't have to wait for price to hit your TP before you exit the markets. And to be able to make good money from trading currency pairs, you need to use good loss size. All right. Risk takers might want to enter an instant sell, but I'll just advise you to wait for price to close so you know what position to take. All right. So that is that on. Okay, let's see an alternative on this instrument. All right. Okay, so I would say if price is able to close above this, we can see that at this point, price broke this verified resistance but could not go above it. All right. So if price is able to close above this point, all right. If price is able to close above this point, we can see how price closed at this point. It got here and then came back down. It has not actually been able to break above this point. So I would say it's just best to wait for price, and entering your buy at this point is not advisable. All right. So I'll just say if price is able to close above 1.25597, you can look to buy. All right. If price is able to close above this point and then take your profit anywhere around 1.25659. All right. Take your profit anywhere around 1.25659. 659. All right. So on 15-minute time frame, we have a verified resistance at that point. So if price is before this verified resistance, you want to take your profit. All right. So if price is able to close above 1.25597, 1.25597, this is GBPUSD. All right. So you look to buy and then take your profit before this verified resistance at price 1.25659, anywhere around that point. You don't necessarily have to wait for it to hit your TP. All right. So moving on, let's look at USD CAD. USD CAD. I'm trying to take out these lines that I have on my chart. Okay. All right. Okay. So we can see how USD CAD has been moving. All right. All right. So, Mr. John, kindly reach out to your account manager and make sure you have your account manager's number saved on your phone so that you get the trade signals on WhatsApp. And you can also join our WhatsApp channel. All right. So you can get the signals from there. All right. Thank you, Mr. John. That's to you. Okay. So looking at USD CAD this morning, right? You can see how it actually opened, right? Weak, and that's the weakness we saw in USD IDX earlier when we looked at that instrument. All right. So looking at this instrument now, if you're looking to buy this instrument, I would just say you wait for price to close above this point. Yes, wait for price to close above this point before you enter your buy. All right, because we can see the trend this instrument has been on. All right. All right, we can see the trend. So we can see the trend has actually been on a downtrend. Okay. So if you're looking to buy, so if this instrument closes right above this point, if there's a new high created and then the next candle closes and formed another high, there's a heavy likelihood that it's changing to an uptrend. All right. So now, if you're looking to buy this instrument this morning, it's advisable that you wait for price to close above 1.36872. If price can conveniently close above this point, yes, if price can conveniently close above that point, it is safe to enter your buy. All right. If price can conveniently close above 1.36872, 1.36872. If price can conveniently close above 1.36872, it's safe to enter a buy. You set your buy stop at price 1.36872 and take your profit anywhere before the turn code resistance at price 1.37004. 1.37004. So if price is able to close above 1.36872, if price is able to close above 1.36872, then you can look to to buy and take your profit anywhere before the turn quote resistance at price 1.37004. Okay. Mr. John, your account officer will reach out to you outside this class. All right. Thank you. We'll reach out to you later today. Thank you. Okay. So that's that for the buy preference. So if you're looking to sell this instrument this morning, it's advisable that you wait for price to close below this point, right? If price is able to close below 1.36516, if price can conveniently close below 1.36516, 1.36516, 1.36516 is safe to enter a sell and take your profit right before this verified support at price 1.3644422. I'll take that again. If price is able to close below 1.36516, safe to enter your sell and take your profit before the verified support at price 1.36422. 1.36422. Mr. Ayonda, if your demo account is not working, kindly reach out to your account manager and complain. It might be that it has expired, all right? So you might need to open another one. Just reach out to your account manager for help on this. Thank you. All right. Okay, so that is that for USD CAD. All right, let's take one more currency pair before we move to other instruments like commodities and indices. All right. Mr. Ayonda, can you drop your email address? Okay, so moving on, let's see what USDJPY has been up to. All right, so it's no news that JPY is actually the weakest currency in the G10 currencies. All right, so yeah, so JPY has actually been weak for a while now. Okay, so has actually been really weak, and owing to the fact that last week they released their bank rate and they left rate unchanged. All right, they left rate unchanged. So we are waiting for intervention from the BOJ to see how they can give a little push to that currency. So JPY is currently very weak. All right, it's not as strong as expected. It's actually is actually the weakest at the moment. All right, so if you're looking to enter any trade on this instrument this morning, you can see how price has actually been moving. Okay, so like I said before, we might see more for a consolidating market this morning, and that's because of the news that we're expecting later today. So just advisable, so you don't get stuck in the market, it's advisable to just set your entries, take a short trade, and exit the market. All right, so and for those of us that want to trade in news, I believe we've all funded our accounts, and if we have not, please fund your account or reach out to your account manager on how you can actually do so you can take advantage of price movements when the news comes out today. All right, today is Money Friday. You don't want to miss NFE. For those of us that traded the bank rate on Wednesday, I'm sure we make cool money from it. All right, so for USDJPY this morning, if you're looking to buy, I would say you should wait for price to close above. If price can close above this point, price can close above 153. Okay, let me just adjust this a little bit. All right, so if price can close above 154.046, 154.046, we can enter our buy and take our profit before anywhere around 154.409. 154.409. I'll take that again. If price is able to close above 154.046, to save to enter our buy and take our profits anywhere around 154.409. 154.40. So alternatively, if price is able to close below, if price is able to close below 152.479, 152.479, then safe to enter a sell and take our profit anywhere around 152.092. 152.092. All right, so if you're looking at trading the news, it's not advisable that you leave any of your money trade open till 1:30, because the change in the movement of the price movement might actually affect your trade if it comes out bad, depending on the direction of your trade. So if you have any trade running this morning, I'll just advise you to close those trades before the news comes out by 1:30. So NFP is by 1:30, like I just showed us earlier. For those of us that joined this class when we started, I showed us how prices actually the news that we're expecting from the US zone today. All right, so moving on to gold. All right, so gold has actually been in an uptrend, and we know how gold moves. Gold moves inversely proportional to dollar, but the Israel-Iran war has actually made investors put more money into gold. All right, so because of the ease in the production, we see that gold is actually not as strong as it started off some weeks ago. All right, even months ago. All right, so we saw how gold has actually been moving. So we might say yes. So we can see what gold did on Wednesday. Okay, gold actually sold more on Wednesday. See, Thursday did a bit of retracement, and this was as a result of the news that came out from the US zone and the interest rate coupled with the unemployment claim that came out from the US zone yesterday. All right, okay, so this is yesterday. Okay, so this is actually the rate that was released was on Wednesday, and this was yesterday. All right, so looking at what gold is doing this morning, we can see how gold opened there. It closed with an inverted hammer. So we can see that most of this part, like I said before, there will be more of uncertainties in the market this morning, and that is because of the news. Investors are really looking forward to the NFP that is coming out today. All right, so it's an important data that tells us the number of employment or employed people in the US. So that also tells us if the economy is getting better or getting worse. So it determines, or it also helps us to know whether they are going to be cutting down interest rates or not, or how long they are going to be holding it higher for. All right, so if price is able to close below this point, then we can look to enter a sell. If price is able to close below these zones, we can look to enter a sell. So if price is able to close below 2294.79, let me check. Hold on, please. Right. Yeah. If price is able to close below 2293.89, 2293.89, safe to enter your sell and take your profit right before this verified support. Anywhere before this verified support, can take your profit at price 2289.40. 2289.40. So we are currently looking at gold. All right, so alternatively, if you're looking to buy, all right, so I will not advise that you enter an instant buy. Okay, but for risk takers, we might want to enter an instant buy and take our profit at this point. For risk takers, conservative traders will want to wait for price to close below this point. Sorry, to close above this point. Want to wait for price to conveniently close above this point before we look to take advantage of the buy. All right. Yeah. So if price is able to close above this point, then you can look to enter your buy at price 2304.14, 2304.14, 2304.14, and take your profit anywhere before this proven resistance at price 2306.40. I'll take that again. If price is able to close above 2304.14, safe to enter your buy and take your profit anywhere around 2306.40. 2306.40. All right, so that is that for gold. All right, so let's look at oil. Okay, so looking at how oil has actually been moving, it's just the same thing that's actually pushing price of gold up as what has been pushing the price of these instruments. All right, so we see how oil has been doing for days now, and the ease in the tension in the Middle East has actually brought down the price of oil. And then Okay, so for today we see how oil has actually been moving. We see the trend it has actually created at this point. So we see the trend it has actually created. So if this high we see is higher than this high, higher than this. So if there's a new high formed that is higher than this high, then we can see that oil has actually moved back to an uptrend. All right. So it's changing back to an uptrend. So if this high, this is high, and one high, this is another high, this is another higher than this high. All right. So sorry, low, a lower high rather. So this is a low, this is another higher low, this is another higher low. So if there's a new low is formed at this point that is higher than this low, all right? So because if we look at this side, this is a high, this is another higher high. If a new low is from another high, which is higher than this high is formed, then we'll say it's safe to say that oil is now on an uptrend, all right? So this is 1 hour time frame, all right? So this is 1 hour time frame, but because you don't want to stay too long in the market because you're looking at trading, it's advisable you wait. You check your trades on 15 minutes. You can see that once we check our entries on 1 hour, we also look at 15 minutes to be sure that our entries are safe to use, all right? Okay, so looking at what we have here now, let's look at it on 15 minutes because we don't want to get stuck in the markets. We don't want to be stuck. Yeah, we don't want to at all. So yeah, we don't want to be stuck in the market. So if price is able to close below 83.51, I will have just said the way for price to close below this point. To close below this point and enter your sell, or yes, enter your sell. Wait for price to close below this point, enter your sell, but it's like a short trade, so and it's quite risky, right? Because of this, so price might not break this, come down, and then still test it. It might test this 21 period moving average, and then still bounces back up. So to be safe, I'll just advise you wait for price to close below this point before you enter your sell trade. So wait for price to close below 83.51, 83.51 before you enter your sell. Sell stop, please. There's a difference between sell stop and sell limit and buy stop and buy limit. So if you don't know the difference, can you reach out to your account manager so you can understand the difference between these two pending orders, these types of pending orders rather. All right. So I said again, if you're looking to sell oil this morning, wait for price to close below 83.51, 83.51, and then take your profit anywhere before this untested support at price 83.25. 83.25. All right. So alternatively, if price is able to close above, you might want to say here. All right. But make sure you check the high that was formed at this point. Was price able to close above that point? If the answer is no, I'll say you wait for this. All right. So the news that is coming out today, we also determine how this instrument moves. In a way, the news from the US has a way of affecting almost all the instruments. All right. So we have if price is able to close above 84.53, 84.53 can enter your buy and take your profit anywhere before the stone cold resistance at 84.74. 84.74. All right. So that's that on oil. So we are now moving on to indices, US 100. We're starting with US 100. Yes, we all know that last week we are in the season of earnings reports from the tech companies. All right, they released their earnings, and the earnings from Meta actually came out better than expected, but their revenue report was what actually pulled investors back. Their expectation on the AI is actually not as good as actually came down. All right. So in a way, the earnings from these tech companies is what has been moving this instrument. All right. So the earning from the tech company is what has actually been moving indices. All right. Okay, so this was when I think, yeah, this was last, okay, this is today. Okay, last week we saw the earnings on this was on what day was this? Ah, this was in the early hours of Wednesday before the FOMC released their bank rate. All right. So their monetary policy. Okay. So we can see how US 100 has actually been moved. If you look at how it moved all through last week, you can see the movement in price. Let's see weekly. All right, we can even see how it closed last week. So the earnings report actually gave this instrument some strength. All right. So let's see, and we know that US index actually, or indices also move inversely proportional to what dollar does. All right. So if we see any, this push up was as a result of the news from the US zone, we can see at this point now, this time, we can see what happened to this instrument. This was around the time yes, around this time, 7 years, when they released a bank rate on Wednesday. This was around the time they released a bank rate on Wednesday. Okay. So I'm very sure there was any that was released at this point. That was the reason for this long sell on that same Wednesday. All right. So which are actually eating up until the latter part of yesterday when the unemployment claim that came out neutral from the US zone was released. All right, this morning, if I'm looking to sell this instrument, I'll wait for price to close below this point, and then let's see. All right, so if price can close below 17685, 17685, 17685, we'll look at taking a sell entry and then take our profit right before 17665.09, 17665.09. So if price is able to close below 17685.67, 17685.67, can look to sell and take a profit anywhere before this point at price 17665.09. Remember, you don't have to wait for price to hit your TP before you exit the market. So alternatively, if you're looking to buy, all right, I will have just said we should enter in standby, but because of this, my 5-period moving average that is serving as a resistance at this point, it is not safe to enter and standby. All right. So if price is able to close above 17761.69, this is US 100. Mr. Madam Morris, can you drop your account email address, please? Madam Morris, drop your email address. Thank you. If price is able to close above 17761.69, safe to enter a buy. If price is able to close above 17761.69 and take your profit right before this proven resistance at price 17784.88. 17784.88. If price is able to close above 17761.69, you enter your buy and take your profit anywhere around 17784.88. 17784.88. So Madam Morris, your account officer will reach out to you after later today. All right. So that is that for US 100. All right. So if price is able to close above 17761.69, take your buy, and if price and take your profits anywhere before this proven resistance and price 17784.88. All right, so that is that for US 100s. Let's look at one more index before we call it a morning. I won't say a day because we still have a live section for the NFP. For NFP today, all right? So looking at US 100, we all know basically that the US indices tend to move in the same direction, all right? They tend to move in the same direction. So you can see what US 100 is doing, and then this is 15 minutes, and this is 15 minutes. More like they're moving in the same way, yes. Yes. So they move likely, yeah, if you look at US 2000, US 30, you see the same move, all right? So if you're looking to sell this instrument this morning, I'll just say wait for price to close below this point. Okay. Yeah. Just before this my 21 period moving average, you want to take your profits. It's important. Risk takers might want to enter an instant sell. This is 15 minutes, but because you don't want to stay long in the market, you wouldn't want to get stuck. All right. So just look to sell if price close below 5095.2. 5095. If you want to know how to pick my entries, kindly reach out to your account manager for explanation on that. We can't do that in this class. All right. Thank you. So if price is able to close below 5095.2, 5095.2, we say to enter our sell and take our profit right before or anywhere around 5091.8. I'll take that again. If price is able to close below 5095.2, take your sell and then take your profits anywhere around 5091.8. Alternatively, if you're looking to buy, I'll just say wait for price to close above this point, and then before this verified resistance, take your profits. All right. So if price is able to close, above 5107.7, 5107.7, we can safe to say you can enter your buy. If price is able to close above 510.7, 5107.7, I'll take that again. If price is able to close above 5107.7, take your buy and then take your profits anywhere before this verified resistance. You can set your first TP at price 5112.1 and your second TP at price 5117.1. 5117.1. Your first TP at price 5112.1, and then take your second TP at price 5117.1. All right. So that's that for USD. That's that for US 500 this morning. All right. So I say you don't want to be caught in the market by the time the news comes out. So it's not a trade that you want to stay too long in. So you set your entries on 15-minute time frame and make sure you don't leave any trade open before the news comes out. It is not safe to leave any trade open till when we're expecting an high impact news, because it might be disastrous if the news comes out and then it goes in a direction different from the direction of your trade. It might be disastrous. So, and you don't want to be caught in the market, all right? So it's just safe to take any short profit you're able to take this morning and then look forward to the NFP, the news coming out by 1:30. All right, so we have come to the end of today's section. All right, so I'll just say like I said before, this is Morning Friday. We know how NFP moves the market and we want to take advantage. All right, so make sure you fund your account, speak to your account manager, fund your account and get ready to trade NFP. And don't forget to join the afternoon section so that I can take entries for the news. Thank you very much and do have a lovely day ahead. Thank you.